Welcome back to Success Tribe magazine, Jennifer Jefferies. For those of you who haven't heard Jennifer speak yet, she's a naturopathic doctor, global keynote speaker, and she's the author of the 7 Steps to Sanity. And it's always great to receive advice from Jennifer because it's based on her fast-paced real-life experience, as well as what works for most of us in our very busy lives. One of Jennifer's pet topics to talk about is anti-aging. And with so many women and men running out to get their Botox or their laser treatments and facelifts these days, I really wanted to address a revolutionary alternative to anti-aging, which works from the inside out. And that's rebuilding the telomeres. So telomeres are really the subject for today. Jennifer, would you mind, please, helping people to understand what telomeres are and what their function is in the body?
Love to. So the telomeres, or telomeres, however you want to say it, are found at the tips of our chromosomes, and they're the most important kind of marker for determining your lifespan. So the chromosomes are long, organised strands of DNA, so most people have heard of your DNA. So within them is you've got your DNA and proteins that are found in cells. And these strands are in charge of all the processes for what happens inside ourselves. And imagine that the proper placement and functioning of these chromosomes determines, whether you're going to have a normal, healthy body or if you're going to have a body that's going to age faster and pick up all the kind of aging diseases.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What happens over time with the telomeres? And what sort of diseases can we possibly get as a result of that?
Well, at either end of the chromosome, you've got this little strand, which is like a telomere. It's called a telomere, and the easiest way I can describe it is it's like a shoelace.
Yeah.
So, when you've got your shoelace, you've got that little protective piece on the end, and you know how when it starts to wear over time, it starts to fray and look old? Well, imagine the same thing's happening to our body. So the telomeres act like a bookend. So they're meant to hold everything upright, organised, and happy and working and intact. And stop the telomere stops the chromosome from getting frayed. When it starts fraying, it might be things like everything from vision through to aches and pains, through to organs starting to break down, old thin skin, all the typical kinds of signs of aging. And bottom line, the guy who does a huge amount of research in this work, and he was shown in Popular Science magazine and Time magazine, and that's Dr. Bill Andrews. Mm-hmm. He says that bad things happen when telomeres get short. And everything in life, all you should be doing is trying to keep your telomere nice and long.
So there was a breakthrough with telomere science recently over the past few years. Who was it that brought that breakthrough into the United States? So who was it that actually studied this originally?
There was a group of people, including one Aussie woman, Dr. Elizabeth Blackburn. Mm-hmm. She's a Tasmanian woman, and they'd been doing research for years, but they actually got recognised with the Nobel Prize in 2009. Mm-hmm. She was doing some research back in 2006 where she found that women under high stress, for instance, lose 9 years of their telomere length, which is just huge. And then people who are depressed, chronic depression reduces your telomere length by a decade. So if you imagine the average lifespan nowadays is in the early 80s, if you're stressed and depressed, you're checking out of here 20 years early. You're realistically, your life's somewhere in the early 60s, and I'm nearly 52. The thought of checking out of here in another 10 years is just beyond my brain. There's no way. I want to be still riding my motorbike when I'm 96. So the work that Elizabeth Blackburn's done with another group of scientists, and then it's been picked up hugely by a guy by the name of Dr. Bill Andrews, who's the guy who's received so much recognition in the last few years and was in Popular Science and Time magazine and that. They've been really working solidly with botanicals, and lots of things first, actually. They help to preserve and support the telomere to stop it from fraying. And I was actually caught up with Bill Andrews at a conference about 18 months ago, and it was really interesting. He'd been researching, things basically pharmaceuticals to support the telomeres for years, and he'd found 400 hits. He'd studied 300,000 constituents that are found in the pharmaceutical industry and found 400 hits. The problem was the majority of them were not safe to use on humans.
Okay, yep.
And interesting, he was introduced to a guy who's a master herbalist and master formulator within the natural therapy industry, and his name's John Anderson. And when he was talking to John Anderson said, so why don't you test botanicals and nutritionals? And he went kind of like, why? And nowadays he says he has to eat his words because he realizes how ignorant he was. He was just seeing where so much of the pharmaceutical industry does. It's so limiting. They just look at what's there, not what's in the natural world. So John Anderson sent him 15 herbs. They're the kind of herbs that we use, mainstream kind of herbs we use in clinic. And after testing them, he found he got higher hits for telomerase, which is the enzyme that protects the telomere, than anything else he had tested. He's gone on now and he's tested in the last couple of years, and he's tested and he's got over 30 ingredients, and they're all botanicals and nutritionals, which is really exciting because it's our bodies are meant to work close to nature, so safe to use on humans. And so Bill Andrews is leading the way very much nowadays.
Previously it was synthetics that they were utilising, and as you said, they weren't appropriate for the body. So have they got any evidence that you're aware of where people have been shown to have looked younger or felt younger or anything at all at the moment?
That's a great question, Kelly. They've done research in the lab with cells and absolutely proven that they can stop the telomere from fraying and can induce telomerase, which in theory is helping the cell to live longer. They've done it with mice. They did a study with mice where they let one mouse age normally, and it turned into a half-bald, grey, patchy, fat mouse.
Right.
And then the other one, they gave it the herbs that were helping to induce telomerase, and that mouse didn't age.
Wow.
And it's visually an amazing thing to see. And there's actually, if you want to check out YouTube, you could check around and find it. If you look at telomerase or telomere mouse study, you'll find news reports of it in the States. So that's been really cool. But there's human trials going on at the moment, and you're going to see through this year huge. We're not making any claims at the moment, but I know scientists who are working this area, and they're absolutely getting results already with helping to not just support telomeres, but well and truly, God, you don't know how much I want to say that they're actually, increasing lifespan by 10 or 20%.
And I imagine
we've got to wait for the results to be published, but I know this stuff's happening in the labs right now with humans.
Yeah, wow.
And that's just cool.
It's very difficult when you can't actually say exactly what you know because it's still in the process.
But just watch this space. Trust me, we'll be letting it out there as quick as we can. It's this next 12 months. This is futuristic science happening right now. It really is the coolest stuff to ever happen in science for such a long time, for hundreds of years.
Look, I've listened to testimonials of women who've even lost weight by working on products such as Product B with their telomeres. What do you think about that?
Well, you think about it. If you've got your body again under stress, and something like Product B, which is a product I've been taking myself for 18 months, and when I started to take it, I'm basically fit and well myself, but when I took it, what I found is it just amplified everything. So I got, even better sleep. I got even more energy, and, my skin looks lovely, and weight starts to do what it wants. So just imagine if you're taking a supplement that's packed with botanicals and super antioxidants that help to support all your cell functions and healthy telomeres, protect you from those free radicals that are actually causing, so much of the cellular damage and aging, and they're causing the oxidative stress and all those things. It's when your body's basically working properly, the end result is everything's going to come back into line. So people experiencing weight loss, absolutely, if that's what their body needs to do, that can happen. The thing is, something like Product B, anything to deal with the telomere, your body still needs to be in the alkaline corridor. So it's not just about taking Product B. It's about getting your body into the alkaline corridor, which I encourage people to do with something like a 30-day cleanse, and then they can continue with something like Product B as part of their maintenance and staying well in life to support their telomeres and stay kind of like I want to grow old really young. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Right,
Grow. Stay young, growing old. Totally with you there, Jen.
You know what I mean.
We all know what you mean. I personally got onto Product B pretty quickly when I heard about it and did my own research, because youth and vitality have always been part of who I am. I've always been into my sports, and to be agile, strong, flexible and have endurance is just really important to me, and I feel that I have I've got the physical ability of someone less than half my age, and I want to maintain that. And with Product B, I plan to maintain it for the rest of my life, but my main concern has also been in my past, I've suffered from a lot of stress and extreme stress, 10 years ago, and whether it's been trauma or anxiety, depression, all of these things, which, as you said, it causes your telomeres to reduce in size dramatically, even if you've had a great diet, good lifestyle generally, and you exercise and you do all the good things. So for me, it's really important because of that reason alone. The research that I did, basically the scientists were saying that stress had more of an impact than, the bad foods that you ate. So
I totally agree. That's without a doubt, stress is the most impactful, and it's not the big nasty stresses nowadays. It's just the daily, continual little hits that just compound, and then one day your body just goes, you know what, I just can't do this anymore. I had heard yesterday that a 46-year-old friend of mine has gone and had a stroke. 46.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Busy CEO, and he's an ex-rugby player, fit and healthy, but you know what? The stress has knocked him off his perch, and that's not good. He's lived, but you know what? He's learning to walk and talk again. I'm not going down that road. I'm staying fit and well and healthy, and I'm going to support my telomeres the whole way through and keep myself in the alkaline corridor so that when I'm presented with stresses and all those things, and that's what I just do with patients, is just to get people to come to that space where they're living from a place of prevention and they don't have to go catch, 46 years old having a stroke. Not on.
Yeah, what a wake-up call. And I'm sure that many people listening today, they've had, friends and family members who've been through similar experiences, and we really need to wake up to that, not only with our lifestyle, but with what we can do to help rebuild the damage that we've already done. Thanks so much, Jennifer, for shedding some light on telomeres and the amazing product B by Isogenics, which if people are interested, please feel welcome to click on the link below for more information, or once again, you're welcome to contact either myself or Jennifer Jefferies. Is there anything else that you'd like to add about anti-aging while we've got you there today, Jennifer?
No, I've just put it's never too late to start. Yeah, my mum's really quick case study. My mum is 73, and the start of last year, she was starting to turn into a bit of an old lady, and I said, Mum, not on. I'm being selfish. I don't want you to do that. And so she went on a 30-day program and Product B, and we got her back into the groove. And in July last year, she ran a 10K race at the Gold Coast Marathon with me. And not just that, she's backed it up and said she's going to do it again this year. She was the oldest person competing in the race. And for me to get to run with my 73-year-old mum, soon to be 74-year-old mum, was one of the coolest things I'll ever do. I want to keep, my family fit and well and healthy right through their age as well. I don't want them turning up in a nana farm. Yeah. So I just encourage people to take it.
That's
Give it a go.
Amazing. What an inspirational woman. Thank you again for your time today, Jennifer.
My pleasure.
Bye for now.
See ya.